Hi, my name is Nitin, and today we are with Mr. Suvir Popli, who is an executive director at Surbana Jurong. We are here to understand his journey, his role, and how he has shaped up his career in the field of quantity surveying and cost management. Suvir has roughly 32 years plus of experience in the industry, wherein he started, first 10 years of his journey was with contracting firms, and remaining 20 years plus was with consulting firms, and that too with only two of those consulting firms with a variety of wide range of experience there, 20 years, and then now he is handling Southeast Asia for Surbana Jurong. So let's understand and hear it out from him, his overall experience and journey in the field of QS and cost management. Thank you for joining us and giving your time, Suvir.
Thank you, Nitin, for introduction, very good introduction. And I would just like to say that it has been a long journey, but I'm satisfied with the kind of work we've done, and it was really nice to explain this journey to the others who are just about to start their journey or are in the mid-range, so that they also follow the same or similar or maybe better route towards progress.
So help us, take us through your journey of those 32 years, how it has been.
I graduated in 1992 and then started my journey with a contracting company where I was working as a site QS, measuring work done at site, understanding the site conditions, and just translating that into measurement sheets, the work done into measurement sheets. And subsequently the role increased, and then I would manage the billing process at site. And after some experience on the site billing, I was then taking care of the overall projects at the head office level, managing the billing and the award of contracts. After joining the consulting firm, the role again widened, and it included preparing estimates and managing the budgets during the procurement stage, and supporting the various clients on the procurement strategies, and subsequently awarding the works. So almost 10 years I was with one of the largest cost consultancies in globally, and where we managed projects right from residential to commercial and infrastructure projects, including metro projects, bridges, and smart cities. And now I'm again with a large company which is again a very strong which has a very strong foothold in cost management. We had a strong division out of Southeast Asia, and now we are developing that in India and the southeastern region.
So Suvir, take us through your 32 years of journey, how you started, where you started from, and probably the role, and then how you are doing in the current scope of business.
See, I graduated in 1992, and I started as a site QS, where my primary role was to measure the works at site and submit it to my manager for further processing. And gradually when you start learning, then you progress, and 5 years down the line I was a manager at the same place, handling juniors who would come and give me all the details, and then the management of the data was done at that stage, which included certification of bills, variations, and all those things. Mm-hmm. Subsequently, when I joined a consulting company, my role was widened. It included preparing and developing the estimates along with the design. And then it also included establishing and maintaining the contractual relationships between various stakeholders, let it be a contractor or a consultant, And since then, we've been working as a consultant for various projects ranging from maybe 100 crores to 20,000 crores.
Wow. So with that, take us through what exactly is QS. So probably QS, cost consultant, and related roles in this field.
So see, QS is required everywhere because it's not that only large projects require QS or small projects require QS. Estimates are the building blocks of any development. So developing a right estimate is extremely critical for the success of any project. Then, these days with the construction cost increasing so much, value engineering is something which is required required for all projects. Example, even if you save 1% of a capex cost, for a large project it may range in crores.
Right.
And that is where the benefit of QS comes in, or a cost consultant comes in, where the architect would want an iconic project, the developer is looking for returns from that project, or the functionality. So value engineering is extremely important at that stage, where you are able to optimize the cost and not reduce it, optimize the cost, maintaining similar specification and the functionality of the project. So we've been working on those lines since last almost 10 to 15 years for various kind of projects. And then additionally, it also QS has a good role in procurement. Procurement is basically again related to cost. You procure efficiently and the right strategy, then the project is bound to complete in the right time with right quality and the right price. Subsequently to procurement, then maintaining a relationship with the contractual relationship with the various stakeholders and maintaining them till the completion of the project is again a very critical aspect which is handled by the QS. Procurement is something which is very critical to a QS because the way procurement strategy is decided and the negotiation skills can definitely optimize the cost of a project, which is again an important role for a QS. During construction stage, again a QS has a very important role in monitoring and managing the cost during the complete construction stage, which includes identifying variations and managing their cost before the work is actually executed. So this is required for decision making, or maybe optimizing the cost, or based on the specifications and the requirements at that stage. So this is an important role during construction stage also. So these are major functions where the QS role is extremely important, and now it is being understood in the Indian context also. 10 years ago it was mainly the Middle East and the UK which was having QS. Now India also is looking at developing it, and I think in next 10 years the role would become more critical and extremely important, with the kind of construction cost increasing and the benefits coming on to the developers and the project managers. So definitely it is going to increase, and the value will increase.
Right. So I see, probably this person and the team is someone who is actually using that funding of, let's say, 1,000 crore for a project to be able to allocate to various aspects in the project, making it a success, probably saving something out of it as well, which is a bonus in that.
Yeah. So what happens is that suppose a project is 1,000 crores and the variation due to different aspects, whether it is a requirement or a statutory requirement or a design change or a client requirement, even if it is 10%, it boils down to about
CR then.
yeah. So 100 crores is something which is very critical for the financial success. So managing that within that approved budget is something which is critical for the success of the project.
Right.
So QS plays an important role there.
So this really looks out to be, very big and broad area. So while you are, reflected quite a few aspect to it, help me understand what are the broad roles and responsibility, or probably the various hats a QS person has to, wear to be able to deliver their job or role responsibly.
See, a QS need to be experienced in financial, site management, then legal. He should be aware of the legal requirements. Not exactly a lawyer, but something related to construction. So a QS has a role in financial management, then site management, then stakeholder management, then the legal relationships between various stakeholders. So somebody who enjoys all these things is definitely a good QS and is bound to succeed.
Well, that's how, various roles the person, single individual is playing. Again, a lot of fireworks must be happening in the day-to-day life of this individual.
See, QS is again a problem solver because, when you have a legal agreement for various stakeholders, we are not lawyers, but we try and solve problems practically. We know what is the financial impact of that problem, and then we know what is fair, and we normally QSs are taken on board because of their fairness, and that is the reason even the contractor and the client both have faith on the QS, and that is our major role.
Seems this person QS is doing a probably a big role, or playing a kind of a very important role in probably a project, or the decision making aspects, or turning around that kind of project to it.
Yeah, actually decision making is mainly dependent on, we've seen in construction, decision making is mainly dependent on cost. And cost is something which is managed by a QS efficiently. So starting from the establishing a concept level estimate to a final estimate to the award of contract is where QS has a major role, and that is where all decisions are taken. Even during construction, if there are changes required, a QS would give you an estimate of the implication of that change, and that is where the most decisions are taken. See, technical feasibility is one important thing, but again cost is also an equally important aspect for decision making.
Right. So when we talk about QS or the role, and let's say we discuss that a person has to get the quantities, get in the estimates, prepare the let's say BOQ and the financial aspects of things, and then manage the project. But we fail to map it with the scale. So help us understand probably the scale of the projects, as you brought out, from 100 CR to 2000
20,000
CR. How does the dynamics looks like when you are into this kind of scale of projects?
See, it's even for if you look at small projects or large projects, estimate is very critical to get the financial success of that particular project, because if the estimates are done in the right way, then we are bound to succeed financially. And normally the estimates are developed at each stage of the project, and for a large project it becomes extremely critical, because if the estimate is right, the variation would not be too much. For smaller projects, again, 100 crore project, if the estimate goes out by about 10%, it is about
multi CRs.
See, a smaller project would be a fit out for a commercial building where one floor, maybe 10,000 square feet, needs to be fitted out. So again, variation in that amount would also impact the developer, and if the estimate is done in the right way, it would definitely help achieve the financial success of that project. And see, again, a QS is involved in the procurement. So procurement done efficiently is one important aspect for the project success. So as we increase the quantum of project, we talked about floor. Now if you look at larger projects, building construction, there are commercial buildings, malls, hotels that need to be built, which are maybe 1 million, 2 million square feet. Again, financial certainty is most important, which is the main function of the QS. Procurement, maintaining those contractual relationships are extremely important for the success of those projects. Then as we move on, there are infrastructure projects, rail projects, metro projects, bridges, where again financial stability is most important, and that is achieved through a QS.
Well, that's a whole life cycle of a construction and real estate world, wherein starting from probably a house or a floor of fitment, we are shaping up the cities and the whole city in that space.
Right. See, financial stability is required for each and every project, whether it is small or large, and that is one of the most critical aspects for the success of a project. So financial is taken care by the QS. Again, contractual relationships and procurement again are part of QS scope, which is important for success of any of the project.
So aspirationally, if I see, this particular role looks very lucrative, wherein the person gets to get a chance of, wearing multiple hats, probably be it a financial background or a procurement or legal, stakeholder management, working on the side, the technical part of things and so on. Now, when it comes to probably a growth of this person in a corporate life, help us with a kind of a generic growth process for an individual who would want to start their career in this field, and how probably what is the time frames he might or the person might actually look at for their growth at a certain level.
See, the basic requirement for being a QS, because he would be one of the most trustable person, the basic requirement is trust, willingness to work, and willingness to take on responsibilities. Then it comes to technical competence and the managerial competence. So all that is developed along with the the career of an individual. When he starts, he should be willing to work and should be trustworthy and willing to take on responsibilities. Those are basic requirements that is must for a QS, and in fact it is required for every field. But QS, since we are managing the cost of managing the money of a different entity, trust is something which has to be embedded. Taking on responsibilities is something which the manager would definitely want a QS to develop and progress along with the time and the project. So experience again is very important in this field, because as all projects are unique, and every experience counts here. So even at after 20 years in consulting, I'm still learning, because every project is new for me. There could be a similar kind of a building, but with parameters would be different, clients would be different, consultants would be different. Managing all of them, see, we have to interact. Since we are managing the cost of the whole project, we have to interact with each and every individual. Let it be a signage consultant or a structure consultant or an MEP consultant, lighting consultant. All have to be, we need to discuss with each of them, because they all have some role in the cost of a project.
Right.
So the journey of a QS should start basically from a site where he would be able to learn the requirements at site, understand the site dynamics, understand how things are done, so that it can be related to cost. And subsequently, when he's capable of handling the site conditions or understanding the site conditions, he's elevated to a level of a manager where he would be able to handle a few sites independently and take decisions and support the site team for various activities, and then subsequently he's at a decision making level in the office where again his role is multiple, interacting with the head office staff of the client, interacting with the site team, interacting with the client's management team, presenting the budgets, cost estimates, and the monthly reporting. So these are basic requirements for a consulting.
So essentially, to be at a managerial role, it will take roughly 3 to 5 years. So first 3 years spent on the site, and then you might be able to go there.
But see, generally it takes that, but there are people who would do it even faster and who have a large, who can understand the business better and understand the site dynamics faster and have some experience and inbuilt capabilities to manage people.
Right. So again, probably someone who would want to, aspire and be at your place or be in a decision-making role for an organization, trying, can look at between 10 to 20, let's say 10 to 15 years of period while they are working in this direction to be able to reach there. Yeah.
Absolutely, 10 years is minimum, because see that by that time you understand the various kind of projects, you understand the way things are done, how to manage and all those things, and then it all depends on the individual capacity of an individual. He can be at a senior level managing various projects, and again, hard work and taking on responsibility and being sincere to works is something which is extremely important for this kind of a role.
So, while we talked about or probably looked at it from the delivery point of view, now we also see that, there is on-the-job learning or regular learning required in every field. Now, while the education can take you somewhere, probably, 3 to 5 years down the line, there is next level of on-the-job learning which is required to be there. Help us understand how or probably what role networking plays in your growth and learning, and how MRICS as a qualification really helps you build upon that.
See, MRICS and networking is extremely important. See, MRICS first of all gives you a platform to do networking with similar people in the industry, and you see, I would not be able to meet a CEO of a company in his office, but in a networking event I would definitely be able to meet him, talk to him, interact with him. And networking actually helps in individual growth, whether it is at a junior level or a senior level, because you learn from experiences, you learn from people who have been at that level, who have been doing such things. That gives you again experience which you may not have done yourself, but you learn from individual. It gives you visibility, it gives you you talk to your peers how things are done in the other way. All projects are unique, so people who are handling other kind of projects, they share their experiences with you, and this is a great learning in our industry.
Right, and as they say, the life is not that long that you can do all,
everything
do all
on
the
your
experiences
own.
and do all that mistakes. So you need to be open and learning from others.
So networking gives you that benefit, you learn from other people's mistakes. So you actually remember when you are in that stage, how did the other person handle it, and then it gives you an edge so to handle each situation.
Right. So when now this person has probably joined the organization and he's performing well, he's growing. Help us understand how do you look at people, or how do you understand which person is good for a specific role, and how do you want to place or promote that person in their career journey, in the right fitment for the job, in basically understanding of how you assess people in the workspace.
See, assessment of people is a very critical and important aspect for the growth of the organization, individual growth, and even the growth of a manager. Because what happens is that education wise, people would be very qualified and would have even post graduation and everything is there, but again willingness to work is something which is very important and critical. He should be able to perform in that particular role, take responsibilities, and in our kind of role, he should be able, people should be able to trust him. So because we are handling finances, so that is a very critical aspect. And how we would evaluate somebody is basically depending on his performance in the last
the evaluation period.
Evaluation period, so that how technical aspect is important, but again managerial aspect, responsibility, and willingness to work are some other important aspects. Behavior again is very critical when you are handling a client. Evaluation is something which is very critical, and basically evaluating a person who is handling a client also. Behavior is one important aspect which needs to be considered, because again the client is the person who's giving us revenue, and having a good relationship, maintaining a good relationship is something which is very critical for a consultant business, because see, work-wise we may be very strong, we may have strong technical capabilities. Behavior, willingness to work, and being trustworthy to that client is extremely important. The way business grows, and that is one of the major requirements for any consultancy.
Right. So what I can reflect out from this conversation is that while the person plays a major roles or a variety of roles, someone who is good at presentation, probably while they are dealing with clients, the presentation is what matter, what has an impact or matters. How you deal internally with your colleagues and peers, that also is observed and matters. How you behave in the whole ecosystem of your organization, that also is a good reflection. Probably you need to be inclusive in that space. And while technical and functional or the managerial roles plays an important, behavior is something which is takes precedence over others, and then followed by probably the functional roles of the manager, probably followed by the technical, because something like technical can be learned, but behavior is something that you actually imbibe, and it takes a lot of time. That reflects your responsibility and build trust in the long term.
Absolutely. See, what happens is that you develop as a team, and in a team, if you are leading a team who as a team leader, you gain the main advantage, and that is where the inclusiveness and the team building is extremely important in case of a QS, because individually you can't handle everything on your own. You need a team, a well supported team who can manage things along with you. So I have been doing that for maybe last 10-15 years. People, I have team members who have worked with me for more than 15 years now. So again, I would suggest that is one important aspect to be considered along with the others during for development.
Sure. So, there is another aspects of visibility during a particular, let's say, performance appraisal cycle. So, I would want to understand how the performance appraisals are taken care of, within the corporate structure, and what is the role of probably reflection of one's personal achievement for the immediate manager and manager of manager, or probably someone who is taking decision in terms of assigning those ratings and allocating of the funds for the appraisals.
See, ratings are all administrative works that an administrative process that is required for any organization, but again it all depends on the individual capability, his performance during the year and how he's been able to manage the works. So there is no time, there is no limit for anybody's success, because this is a field, consultancy is a field where sky is the limit. If you are able to work efficiently, generate business, manage things, sky is the limit. There is no time limit for growth. Obviously, there are parameters which are controlling all this, because ultimately it is the fee which is managing everything.
Right.
But individuals' capacity and ability to work is something which is very important and critical. Ratings is something which are given by the individual managers, but again, the success for an individual depends on his ability and can be seen from the management level also, along with the success of the project by the client. It all can be observed and seen by the complete team.
Right. So, when the project is delivered successfully, it's not just known to the immediate manager. While the client actually appreciates that, it is known to the senior leadership, and that really reflects out in the appraisal cycle.
Yeah, absolutely. See, success of an individual is dependent also on the way he works, his behavior, his interactions with the client, his ability to handle the client. And these days clients, as you know, are very demanding, and they often appreciate people who have the ability to deliver.
Right. So one last area probably, what will be your advice to people who are looking at QS or starting their journey in the quantity surveying or construction as a whole? What will be your advice? And probably you might want to add the opportunities probably within India and abroad in that space.
See, as I already explained, QS is not about site work only. QS is somebody who handles the finances, who handles the legal aspects of a contract. So again, we are not lawyers, but we can support contractually and practically. So somebody who has inclination towards working on the numbers, working at site, handling problems related to construction. So see, technically it is only he should be a civil engineer, but who likes to handle finances and the legal aspects of the project along with the works within the team can be a successful QS, and those are the minimum requirements. Again, requirements are going to increase definitely, as I see from my experience. 10-15 years back, there was no requirement of a QS. Now, everybody needs a trained QS. And even in our company, we are looking for trained QS continuously. See, projects can be taken, but again, a project is only successful when you have the right team there.
Right.
And QS is a very critical role for the success of any project, anywhere, of any scale. So internationally, QS, we also need QSs in our various offices, specifically in Southeast Asia, where we are looking for experienced people who would be maybe 7 to 10 years experience, who would be willing to work stationed at the site or in our office in the Southeast Asia region.
Right. So the scope is bigger and is not just limited to to India. It's abroad as well, and the market is open.
Absolutely, and because the role is so important that we need people who have experience and are willing to take on responsibility and then develop that trust within the team. And the requirement is immense, and it is going to increase with the time. This is what I feel.
Sure. Thank you so much. That's very wonderful insight to be able to understand what QS does and what are the various hats the person wears to be able to deliver their job successfully. Really appreciate that. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Nitin, for all this insight.
So this was a profile for a QS professional for us who is wearing multiple hats, starting from the technical background of civil engineer to be looking at financials from the viewpoint of a valuation perspective or the cost aspects of the analysis, and then looking at probably the legal aspects or the negotiations or the contractual terms of this particular role, to stakeholder management, probably working it out with the client or the people at the site who are working and monitoring the task and governance. Not to forget the project management aspect of it, wherein the timelines has to be identified, to going to the procurement side of things, wherein the procurement decisions are to be made, and at the end of the day probably working on the reports, delivering it to the senior management or the client, making the whole particular role work or the process work for the client and the stakeholder for a successful delivery of a project. Most important, which we reflected out, is the responsible actions of this person, building up to technical knowledge, behavioral knowledge, and most importantly building trust on the overall process. So that was QS for us, and we'll take it forward for another roles. Thank you.